we tend to use the formal elements as the main element of change. We simply write in the instruction how the new behavior should be. All right? What we actually miss is that we don't go out and train the new behavior. We might not talk about and create understanding of why we need to do things differently. Dialogue is the most important word here today during this lecture. Dialogue is the main element for creating culture change. We need to talk about why. Why do we need to behave differently? All right? Maybe these all are connected, but you don't necessarily have to work with all of them. And the funny thing is that in the Ringhouse 1 change program, we did not have to change very much in the structures, in the formal elements. Okay. Now, the change program. We had 3 basic parts that were sequential. The first one was to create a common and shared understanding of the present situation. That was the first part. Because they didn't agree. A lot of people thought there is no problem. And what happens when you try to start a change program when people don't see the problem? They will object. They will not do anything because there is no need to do so. All right? So what we did was that we created a group of people from different parts of the organization, and they did an analysis of reports, root cause analysis, everything we could find, to actually present data to the management team. This is the current situation. And we talked about this for one entire day with this group and the management team. And that was quite interesting, actually. After that, we had sort of a base, something to start with. Okay, this is where we start. They had a shared understanding of the problem. And my advice to you is, do not start a change program if you don't have that base. You need to have one picture of the problem. Otherwise, later on, people will object, they will stall, and they will sabotage. They will come to you after 1 year, and you will discover that they haven't done anything. Why? Because they didn't think it was necessary. And they will take that liberty. All right? So, shared understanding, you need to create this. Desired result, that is how we want things to be. And this is more complex than you might imagine because we haven't been there. We need to create a description of how we want things to be. And we haven't been there. So, what we did, Vattenfall at this time had core values. All right? You know, core values are values within bigger companies that you think, if we live by these, we will be successful. And at this time, Vattenfall had about 40,000 people, and everyone had the same core values. But not everyone has the same circumstances. So what we did was to translate those core values into Ringhouse 1 culture. All right? We had a huge workshop with the management team and this safety culture group. This is part of their result. Openness was one of Vattenfall's core values, and that was translated into the unique situation and the unique role that Ringhouse 1 had. And they came up with 2 other values, listen and honest. And then we have behavior. Listen, at this time, was supposed to mean we take time to understand. We find out how others do and reason. And what you have here are our values, is the current desired culture for Reading House, but now we have it for the entire Reading House organization. But it's basically the same structure. Values and examples of behavior. Okay. Now I'm going to present to you some important strategies that we chose for the change program. One was to work with goals and train to reach those goals. This is something that we rarely do in organizational change programs. Each person was supposed to set a goal, behavioral and attitude, and work towards it. Train your behavior, train your attitude. Be aware of your current attitude and be aware of how you want it to be. And think about it, work with it. I mean, when you use metaphors from sports, it's so obvious you need to train, right? You don't think about football and then go out and play football better. You train. So if we have a change program where it's about people working and doing things differently,